What's up, guys? Let's just say I recorded basically a whole video and then I reached capacity size on the video, so it got deleted. But you know what I mean? Certain shit like that is meant to stop us, but it won't stop me. It won't stop the message that I was trying to preach. Not preach, but just get out. I just used that word. So basically, I'll start with this. Pain is the greatest teacher. Pain is always the greatest teacher, because when you're put in a moment of pain, you're brought down to your true self, your true mental capacity. And I'm not talking about your mental capacity as in your brain, because your heart receives electromagnetical signals that are meant to help your body respond to stimulus before your brain does. So if that doesn't tell you everything you need to know, nothing will. I'll move on. So I've been gone. I've been off YouTube. I thought I hated it, that I wasn't making videos anymore. Because you know what I mean? It's not about the amount of views you get. It's about the message at the end of the day. And it's not about quantity. It's about the message. Always about the message. And I had an MMA fight. I'll cut straight to the story. Since I just explained everything, I'm going to have to condense it now. I spent a little bit too much time explaining it. But I had an MMA fight December 19th where I did not expect it to happen at all. I was not expecting it to happen at all. So it gets to the time where I'm like, okay, this fight's going to happen. I need to get my shit together. I hadn't sparred. I hadn't rolled. I hadn't checked my weight. I hadn't done shit. I get to fight. Or I get to fight week. Sorry about that, excuse me. And I'm fucked mentally. I'm like, wow, I don't have that true mental confidence. I have fake confidence right now. Because you can't hide it when it comes to fighting. I'm going to walk up to my porch and sit down, because I just went for a run and a walk. But I'm like, man, I just kind of got to hope for the best at this point. And that's not good when it comes to fighting. It's never good. As much as what I've came to the conclusion of, I do not agree with the violence after this last fight. It made me reflect. I don't agree at all with the violence. Like, even for the sake of, especially for the sake of a sport and people's entertainment and people who get off by watching people get knocked out. That's the shit people love the most, the knockouts. And I'm like, wow, that rubs me really the wrong way after I sat and reflected on it. I mean, but at the end of the day, I love MMA. I love the grind. I love the technique, like learning shit. Like, it's and also the discipline you get from it. The discipline's unlike anything, because you have to be good at this sport. You have to give everything away that you love to be the best. And you see that with all these champions. They train all day. If you follow their lives, they train all day. Professionals. So, and then fight week gets there, and then all of a sudden I'm feeling sick, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? This doesn't make any sense. I'm like, this gotta be something. I'm learning a lesson or something from this shit. So it gets to the day that Thursday night, I go and train at a place called the Boxing Yard. I get in a good workout. I feel pretty good. I move around, I hit the bag, I move around with some actual bodies, and I did get in one good jiu-jitsu roll and one boxing sparring before that, maybe Wednesday night or Tuesday night. And I'm like, wow, maybe I won't feel that bad. There's these fucking flies everywhere. So I'm like, maybe I won't feel that bad, I'll be okay. And then I'm driving home. My girlfriend's driving home. She drives everywhere. And I start getting a splitting headache. And I start feeling super nauseous. I'm gonna walk around. I start getting super nauseous. And I'm to the point at when I get home that I'm in absolute tears. I already threw up in a bag in the car, and I'm in tears. Literal tears. And it takes a lot to bring me to that point. And I stopped smoking weed and all that previous to my fight. And I was like, okay, I'm not going to smoke anymore. And then I'm such in pain. And I tell my girlfriend, I'm like, I need your weed pen. She has a medical card. She has epilepsy. So I hit the pen a couple times, and it makes me feel better. And I'm like, oh, thank God. Thank God. Thank God I feel so much better. But I still feel like shit. I pull myself together to make dinner for her. I eat a little bit myself, even though I shouldn't, because I had to make weight. I ate a very small salad, but I shouldn't have eaten anything, because if I would have checked my weight, I would have known. Or I did check my weight, but I just didn't believe it. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to be lighter in the morning. I eat a small salad. So I get to the fight weigh-in day. So I have to cut weight now. I go to the sauna. I'll have to speed this up. I go to the sauna. I attempt to cut the weight. I feel horrible. I check the weight. I'm 175, or it says I'm 175, and I'm like, oh, I hope the scale they have is a little bit less, because I know that I'm like, there's no way I can cut any more weight. I'm pretty much spent. I know my opponent's gonna be mad. I hope that he just says, okay, I accept the fight, because at that point, it's up to him once he gets there if he wants to still fight or not. If not, he doesn't have to. I miss weight. That's bullshit. That's not professional. Nothing. It doesn't matter if we're amateur pros. We should still have the same respect. So my opponent gets there. He weighs in 169, and I'm like, oh fuck. I was hoping he was at least like 172, so maybe it would seem a little more reasonable. So I might have to start walking again. These flies are crazy, dude. Bill Gates and his fucking GMO flies. I swear to God. I'll tell you, I smacked one of these motherfuckers one day, and it was oil that came out of it. It wasn't blood. That shit was oil, bro. So you're gonna tell me that they release those flies that bite and suck your blood to help kill diseases? You got to be an idiot to believe that. But I'll continue. And my opponent, he basically tells me, no, that's not good enough. Can you put on sweats and go run? I tell him no. I'm like, I'm gonna die if I do that, literally, or have organ failure. And then I'm like, if there's a sauna, I can get in a sauna, because I'll sweat. I know I'll sweat. And I find a sauna. I get in the sauna. I feel like death. I still do it. I cut 2 pounds. Fight's on. So I'm like, okay, hell yeah, I'm pumped up. Fight day comes. I wake up. I'm like, okay, I feel pretty good. I can do this. I eat really healthy. I get to the venue. And then I start feeling it. I start feeling really bad. And not only that, the mental doubt of knowing that you did not prepare correctly. And in my head, I know I didn't prepare correctly. You can't run away from your mind. So I'm like, I need my ancestors' power right now. I need the power of the universe running through me. Like, I need something. And then all of a sudden, I start feeling energy. And it's like, you're going to be okay. Just have complete faith. Go out there and try your best. That's what I hear. I'm like, okay. So I go out there, first round. I do pretty good. I land some knees in the clinch. I sweep him off my back, get him off me. Like, I do some good stuff in that first round, but he still could have won that first round. I'll leave it at that. Keep this short. Second round, he completely dominates me. He basically ends up getting my back, pounding my head in. I get close to getting stopped. Third round, and then I see he's physically exhausted. So am I, though, because fighting is very exhausting, as you could imagine. So I get to that third round, and he throws a spinning wheel kick, and I taunt him, and I throw a kick, and I slip, and that's basically the last thing I remember. I wake up off my back to the ref, or not the ref, but the doctor. He's like asking me questions, and I'm like, bro, I don't know what the fuck's going on. I got knocked out. And I'm like, what happened? And they're like, you got hit with a head kick. You were getting up, and then he basically soccer kicked you. But the kick ended up being completely legal after I had to study it a lot. So kick was legal. Sorry, it's dark. Kick was legal. I got knocked out. So I'm like, okay, now I got to deal with this. I get in the car. I don't feel that bad. And then I get in the car, and then I start feeling real bad. I start getting sick, nauseous. I pull over. I throw up in a bag. Get some ice. Then I get home, and I hit my girlfriend's weed pen again. Just like I said, the shit that I said I wasn't going to do anymore. Just to take away the pain. Just to stop feeling that pain. And running away from your pain is always the worst thing you can do. Facing it is always the best thing you can do. I'll leave that at that. So, makes me feel better. I wake up, feel pretty shitty, but I expect to feel shitty. So I got knocked out, you know what I mean? I have a concussion. So days go on. I try to live as normal as possible. I do everything that I possibly can on a normal day-to-day basis. And I'm not getting better at all. And they told me to go to the ER if I'm not feeling better. And I'm like, fuck, I hate the ER. I don't want to go there. So me and my girlfriend were door dashing as our job at the time. We start the DoorDash. I get all the way to almost the island, which I'm close to in Fernandina, and I get so sick I just start vomiting in a bag uncontrollably. Like my body was just horribly sick. I could tell I was so horribly sick. And so I'm like, take me to the ER. I get to the ER, they draw my blood. Again, I'm just going to start fast forwarding. They take my blood. There's obviously a lot of other shit that happened, but I'll get to the important stuff only. They check all 3 vials that they took. 2 of them were normal, and one of them, the nurse tells me my sodium's 110. And I asked her what that means. She said normal sodium levels are at 120, and 110 is so low, or 120 is scraping normal. So she's like, 110, if you're any lower, literally barely any lower, even now, she said that I shouldn't have been able to talk well, and I was talking coherent. But that's just because I'm very strong-minded. And I'm like, fuck. And she said it was so low I could have had a seizure, I could have died, etc. I was fucked up. And I'm like, that explains everything. That explains why I'm so fucked up. Also explains why I got sick that Thursday and started throwing up and was so sick. And the day that I hit the weed for the first time because I was so sick. And I get admitted to the ER. So when they take me to the fucking ER, I'm like, this sucks. I really don't want to be here right now. Why do I got to do this? But I realize I don't have a choice. I'm faced with this now. It's a new test. And I came to a lot of realizations in that place, man. While they had to pump me with all the IVs, get my sodium back up. You know what I mean? They just kept taking blood over and over and over again. And to the point where I was like, bro, I feel like they're stealing my blood on purpose. But I'm not going to be the decider of that. And I finally, I reach a point on that last day before I leave. And I'm like, man, I just literally almost died. Not only that, I just got knocked out. So it was just bad. Physically, it was bad. But mentally, I wasn't broken. You always reach a new stage in life, guys. You always level up. We're always going to be faced with challenges. We're always going to have everything we want in that moment, and then just for it to get taken away from us, to get absolutely shit on. But usually we deserve it, or it's teaching us a lesson. It always is one of the two. Always one of the two. It's either your karma or you're learning a lesson from it. So I realized, I'm like, fuck it. I'm gonna start my own business, because I always hated jobs. Always hated that shit, and I understand what is going on with the world, and I know that the dollar's soon collapsing, very soon, guys. Everyone's trying to be like, oh yeah, crypto is going to be the new currency. Y'all live in an imaginary world right now, because I don't know if you've seen what's going on all around the world. If you want to, go subscribe to RFG's Patreon, or go watch some of his YouTube videos with current events. But all around the world, governments are getting completely burned down. Government buildings, there's natural disasters hitting all these places, completely wreaking havoc. The food is gone. The citizens are out of food and are revolting and getting shot dead on the street because they're asking their governments for fucking food, and they won't do shit. They have everything. They have all the resources. And they want people to go through this shit. They want people to fucking kill each other. So this shit's about to get crazy. But when? I can't decide that. You know what I mean? I just gotta go with the fucking ebb and flow of everything and live my life to the best of my ability. So I said, fuck it. I need to start my own business. And I'm like, okay, so if I'm gonna start my own business, it's gotta be with something that I love. And obviously I've been vegan for about 3 years, maybe even a little bit longer. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I should start my own food prep business, where it focuses on vegan food that is catered for both meat eaters and vegans and athletes. And that is centered around all the foods that people love, that they feel like they can't eat when they're on a quote-unquote diet. And it needs to be marketable, so it needs to be reasonably priced, because from what I've seen, all these food packaging programs are all overpriced. So that's what I'm in the process right now, guys. I'm planning that shit. And even if I don't do it on this earth, I'll do it on the new earth, on the new Mother Gaia. When the dimensional realms split, I would love to make healthy food for people, man. That's always been my passion, because I love the power of food. How it heals so many people, and I've been cooking my entire life in restaurants, so I might as well use that to the best of my ability. So the moral of the story is, guys, and also now I'm doing a lot more shit. I feel like I'm way more responsible on a day-to-day basis. I'm getting shit done around the house and so on. That experience was needed. I got checked hard by the universe, because I took a responsibility and I did not put in the work to get prepared for it. And I paid dearly with my consciousness and almost my body. So the moral of the story, there's always a new level, guys. Don't stop. Don't stop focusing on your progression. Never stop. Always look for the next step. Always. Just when you think that you're working hard enough, you're not. There's always something else you can do to help someone else. And that's what this is bringing me to. This is bringing me to a passion of mine. So, and then ever since then, all the shit that I've been needing has been being provided for me. That's how I know I'm on the right path. I love you guys, man. If you're still watching to this point, I know my face is dark as shit. I love you. I really love you guys, because I know not many people watch these videos, but we gotta stick together, bro. And broette. male male or female. If you're melanated, and you're watching this, I love you so much. And if you're non-melanated, if you're a part of the artificial race, I still love you, because we all serve a purpose, man. We just gotta understand that we all have our place. Just like me, I'm mixed. I'm mixed with I believe some kind of Aboriginal Native American. And I always have felt really connected to the Washita. That I've always felt that. And I literally, like, when I sit in the sun, I get dark as fuck, and I have freckles all over my body. Just like a lot of light-skinned black people are covered in freckles. It's not about being so-called black. It's not about being so-called white. All that shit is a label. At the end of the day, who you are on the inside will always be known by the universe. You cannot hide it. So anyone who wants to say, oh, you care so much if you're melanated, who gives a fuck, bro? At the end of the day, fuck that shit. It's about who you are and the purpose that you serve. We all have a purpose if you're here at this point right now on this earth. And some of us will rise, and some of us are going to fall. Even my fellow melanated brothers and sisters. That's up for the universe to decide, and it's up for your actions to say. I love you. Y'all have a great night. Take it easy.